Someone who can give even more of a personal insight into the man as well as the cricketer is the former England captain Michael Vaughan, who I'm delighted to say joins us now. No, this isn't easy, Vaughanie, but let's start with Warne, the cricketer, who, of course, you came right up close and personal against in 2005, amongst other times.
Yeah, afternoon, everyone. I think he's the greatest. And I'm not belittling all the greats that have played the game, but if you sit around a commentary booth or a dressing room and you start trying to name your world 11s of all time, there's not many that don't start at number 8, and you put SK Warne down at number 8 and you build your team around it. Of course, Bradman, Viv, Sachin, many legendary batters are going to be in that side. But, you know, he delivered the hardest skill to deliver what he delivered, and, you know, to chirp along the way as well as he did. Not only was he great in terms of delivering the skill, he had the work ethic, he had the competitive edge, he had the psychology. I've said over the last few days that I firmly believe that the reason why I love poker so much is that it was like when he bowled, he got into a psychological battle. And that's what he did on the poker table. That's what he did when he had the ball in hand. A great friend to me over the last however many years. I mean, I shouldn't be this emotional about an Australian, but I've just been so raw this last few days, knowing that, you know, I've lost a good friend.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. And perhaps more to the person than we all saw from the distance, that you were able to obviously appreciate. You obviously spent, as you've said, I think in the last couple of days, you spent Christmas with him and his family.
Yeah, I mean, in the last few days, I've gone through moments of crying, and then 10 seconds later, just laughter, because of some of the times that I've been able to and been very lucky to spend with him over the last few years. And to think that I spent the last Christmas with him, sat to his left, with me having turkey, roast beef, vegetables, with his brother Jason and his family, his mum Bridget, his father Keith, his son Jackson, his two lovely daughters Brooks and Summer, and Shane to go and get his usual lasagna, put it on a big plate, 2 white bread rolls, a massive plunk of butter. And what he does is he chops his lasagna in little pieces and he rips open the white bread rolls, and he gets a massive chunk of butter, and he takes about 5 minutes spreading the butter, and then he gets the lasagna in the middle, squashes it together, and he starts biting into these lasagna sandwiches. And then he turns to Jackson, his son, and says, "Come on, Jackson, you've got to have more vegetables on your plate." I mean, the legend, the genius, but ultimately a normal guy. You know, this is a human being that could deliver extraordinary things that no one else can do on a cricket field. But underneath that, an incredibly loyal, normal person who, I think Sam just alluded to there, it didn't matter who you were, and whether you were a player, he loved talking cricket. Anyone he'd talk cricket to, but it didn't matter who you were, he would give you the time of day. I've introduced him to some of my friends from Sheffield, and within 10 minutes, my friends would have felt like, you know, they'd known Warne for years and years. He trusted people. He loved being around people, telling stories. I've been in scenarios where there's been some of the most famous people in the world in the pub. We play in the Dunhill Links every year, and in the Jigger Arms at the end of the day, you know, everyone's having a pint of Guinness, but guess who they want to sit next to? Because Shane Warne's just about to tell a story or two. And I tell you what, I can't repeat his stories on here, but they're good.
I can only imagine, yeah. And it was perhaps telling, if not fitting, that his last post, only hours before his own passing, was about the tragedy of the loss of Rod Marsh, another big character. And you obviously have spent a lot of time in Australia in recent winters, and you'll know that they'll be hurting for the loss of these two giants of the game. Yeah,
hugely. I mean, Rod was obviously a legendary wicketkeeper batter, but, you know, I think in the UK we owe him a great deal for what he did to our academy and to drive the toughness that he did in so many players throughout our system. He was renowned of being tough, renowned of, I think, fitness sessions after night outs were a must. He made sure that the players sweated it out. He was properly old school with Rod Marsh, and to think that Rod's gone and Shane Warne has gone in the space of 24 hours is dreadfully disappointing. But I will say this: I think both those characters and personalities, they certainly lived. They made sure that they made the most out of every single minute that they were on this planet.
Yeah, Yeah, and that is, I hope, how we'll remember them. I know you're going to be here in the studio with us for the third test, Michael. We'll look forward to your company and your insights on the series that's about to start in due course, but really appreciate you joining us on a difficult time for you and, of course, for the families of the two men.